Hello, everyone, and welcome to the BS Bar, where you are getting more booze and reviews. This is a weekly after hours podcast from BS Drunk Movie Reviews, and we will be uploading the video version to our YouTube channel at some point. But as our paid members, you get it first. Feel free to check us out on our regular podcast, BS Drunk Movie Reviews, on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from. My name is Vetta, and as always, I am joined by my prehistoric brother, Matt.
And what's up, everybody?
And on this episode, we are continuing with the Jurassic Park franchise, and we are on Jurassic Park 3.
Yes. Which
Did you see this in the theater or like through Blockbuster or Family Video on VHS?
Well, I did. I think I saw it in theaters. I'm not gonna lie. I think I saw it in. I'm like 99% sure I saw it in theaters. Well, I'm gonna take this off.
So for tonight, what are you drinking to go along with our discussion of Jurassic Park 3?
Okay, so I am drinking what is called a Raptor cocktail. I've had this before, but first off, it's delicious. It's not as green as it was before, but it's vodka, rum, Midori, blue curacao, I think that's how you say it, and club soda, lemon Arizona iced tea, and then a little bit of lemon juice.
Oh, nice. So I'm generic, and I'm just drinking a rum and Coke.
It's okay. You never go wrong with rum and Coke. It's
no. I went old school because these movies are old school. These are the originals. So yeah. All right. So we're gonna start off here with the beginning, obviously, because we're not gonna start with the end.
Right.
All right. So in the beginning of this movie, it is the island from Lost World, the second one. And it's in Costa Rica, and the US government and Costa Rica are trying to figure out what to do with this island. So it's kind of it's a no-fly zone. It's unsafe, but as always, when there's a way to make money, people will figure it out. And so tour companies are taking people out. What is that called? Parasailing, where you're attached to a parachute and dragged behind a boat. So Eric and Ben Ben is Amanda, Eric's mom's boyfriend, and they are on vacation in Costa Rica, and they are doing the adventure parasailing to see the dinosaurs. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, which I just want to say, I was like, I'm not interested in your big bag of nonsense in parasailing.
First of all, before Jurassic Park, there were many movies that have shown you how parasailing never ends well.
Right.
You get eaten by piranha. You get eaten by sharks.
Yes.
You know, there are many ways to die parasailing that all start with you are eaten. So this would not have been how I spent my money. And of course, Ben's all, if you make it really good, there's extra money in it for you. So they have a video camera, they're videotaping, and they come across fog. The boat goes into the fog, it comes out of the fog, mangled with no drivers. They've obviously been eaten by dinosaurs, and Ben cuts the rope to the parasail loose so that they can be free or whatever, which I kind of was like, you might have been better off going to the boat, not the island with the man-eating dinosaurs. But hey, potato.
I'm right.
Your choice, Ben.
Yeah.
So they get on the island, and then Can
I say something real quick? I wrote down, I was like, of course Ben did this. That's not his kid. You know what I'm saying? So
because he's trying to be the cool boyfriend.
Yeah, I'm the cool dad. I'm not the weird dad. I'm the cool dad.
Yeah. I'm not like all other stepdads.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
So it skips forward to 8 weeks later, and it shows Alan, Dr. Grant, giving a lecture I'm assuming on a university campus, it's what it looks like.
Right.
And at the end of his lecture, either that or he's trying to get money or something. I'm not 100% sure. At the end of the lecture, he asks if there are any questions. And then he states, when all the hands go up, that don't pertain to Jurassic Park or the incident last year that I wasn't even at.
Right.
And
exactly.
everybody's like, you're saying you wouldn't go on the island? He's like, there's nothing you could do that would get me on that island. And I just want to say that, what's his face? You know, Paul.
Yeah.
Paul. William
yeah,
H.
William
Macy.
H. Macy, yeah.
He did not try very hard to get
Exactly.
Dr. Grant on the island. So he lied. So, because then it goes forward to the dig site that Grant's working at, and his assistant, that Billy. His assistant Billy is there and whatever. And of course, Paul shows up and he claims to be this billionaire or whatever. And he wants to have dinner with him. And it skips to the dinner, and his wife, Amanda, who is played by
is that
David Duchovny's ex-wife,
Tia Leone?
Thank you.
Leone?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they spill all kinds of bullshit about all these adventurous things they've done and how they want him just to fly over the island and be like their tour guide and point out all the fabulous dinosaurs and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So first, I'm going to take a second. We're going to talk about Amanda and Paul.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I wasn't buying Amanda and Paul's shit.
I wasn't either. I don't know. The whole time listening to their story, because I rewatched this and I was like, I'm like, how do you fall for this, Tim? Like, I don't, or Mr. Grant. I was like, I don't get how you fall for this.
Yeah. And he should have been on even a higher alert because he fell for this shit before.
Yeah, ain't that the truth, sister? Like, the whole time their story, I was like, I don't know. This sounds fishy to me. I would have like, no thanks, I'm good.
I'm like, why wouldn't you have just waited? If you're that in with the Costa Rica government, why wouldn't you have just waited till they figure out what they were going to do to the island?
Right. And
then paid or just bought the fucking thing from them. They probably were more than happy to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So, I was not buying their shit. And I thought, even though we find out later Billy is not in cahoots with them, I kind of thought Billy might have been in cahoots because he was really pushing for it.
Right. Yeah.
And they were hiring missionaries to go with them because Eric is their son. So they're really on a mission to find their son.
Yes.
So then we're on the plane and we're going to the island. And I loved when Dr. Grant is like, if you look over there, there's a pack of bronciosauruses. And everybody's like, do you see anything yet? And they're like, there's an airstrip. Should I land? No, sir. Wait, what do you mean land? Like, now he's concerned. That whole scene, I was cracking up because they're like, I don't see anything. And he's like, well, what do you mean? There's triceratops. And he's like trying to be like a museum-y type tour guide.
Right.
And nobody's into it at all. Nobody's
they're like,
and the one mercenary that's sitting behind Billy's like, so how do you know Amanda and Paul? And I can't remember their last names. And he's like, Church.
That's good. I like that.
And I was like, maybe.
yeah, that's always a possibility.
So they land on an airstrip. Oh, and they knock out the church guy, which I don't remember his name, Nash or something.
Sure.
Knocks out Grant because he's all like, you can't land, and he's freaking out with, he has every right to be. He's been there, done that. And they land. And when they land, Amanda has a megaphone and is yelling, Ben, Eric.
Yes. Yes, which I don't know about you, but I was like, I like, as soon as this happened, I'm like, I rewatching this, I was like, shut up, woman. Like, shut your mouth.
The fact that Alan Grant is just going, that's not a good idea. You really should make her stop. I'm like, no. My ass would have come running off of that plane and tackled her
Yeah,
and threw the
exactly.
megaphone into the woods.
Yes. I'm in the same boat because as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, you were so stupid."
Yeah. Even if I knew nothing about dinosaurs, I'm not going onto an island where people have wrote terrible stories. We've heard the thing in San Diego happened with the Triceratops running through downtown San Diego. I'm not standing at the edge of a woods with a megaphone screaming. No way. My common sense goes, bad idea. Bad.
Right.
Not good. So they get her to stop yelling through the megaphone, and not more than 2 seconds later, 2 of the 3 missionaries come running out saying, we gotta go.
Yeah.
They all get on the plane and they're starting back, but they don't have Nash, and they're like, he's a big boy, he can figure it out. And he comes running out on the airstrip and he's like, stop, please God, stop.
Yeah. He's like pleading, but let's like, hey fucker, they can't hear you.
When they're in a plane and they're terrified, I
love how before he was, dealt with dinosaurs, he was all like badass. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna kill these dinosaurs and everything with my big gun. And then as soon as he sees the dinosaur, he's like, fuck that noise. Yeah. And then he's like, please stop the plane.
And I can't remember the name of the dinosaur.
I don't remember either.
But it's the one that kind of looks like, it's like a triceratops, but it's got the longer snout and the giant fin on the back.
Right.
And it comes running through and it grabs Nash. Can I just say that it must have like bit him into halves or thirds? Because if you watch the plane, blood as they're flying up, splatters. Or he bit him in half and part of it went through the plane's propellers. I don't know. The plane is covered in blood.
Yeah, and a small piece of me wonders, like, because like right after that they crash into the tree line, and I'm like, you couldn't make it going further up, because does that much blood cause you to
so that's why I think part of him might have hit, because they were in a propeller plane. They were in a jet, so the propellers are in front. So my part of me was like, did he hit and damage the propellers? Like part
that's
of
a good point.
Which then probably would have caused more blood.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. As soon as I saw it though, I was like, what's going on here? Like, just because he gets blood splattered all over your plane doesn't mean you can take off. You still have engines and stuff.
Yeah, but not everyone can be Sully and land in the Hudson Bay
ain't that the
panic,
Right.
So my whole thing too is like, this is probably one of the bloodiest of the Jurassic Parks, because
and they
get blood splatter.
Right. And I just want to say, like, this one was better than the last one that we reviewed, because they don't show the kills off screen. Like, like they're all like, the dinosaur's like, and then like off screen it kills whoever.
Yeah.
This one they show it, and I appreciate that much more.
Yeah, and these ones, unlike the other two, you're not getting just an arm or anything. These ones are actually showing them being ripped apart or stepped on, which you don't get in the first two. There's not a lot of blood. There's a lot of deaths, but it's a body being thrown up in the air and then snatched up by the T-Rex or whatever. It's not, this one is way bloodier, which I appreciate.
Right.
So now they've crash landed into trees. And again, I do have to say, Alan Grant gets some lovely one-liners in this.
Yes.
Because they're in the plane. It's got no wings.
Yeah,
it's just like a little capsule sitting in trees. And he opens the door and goes, and shuts it, sits back down and goes, we haven't landed yet.
Yeah, right.
And I love that, because I'm like, put your seatbelt on.
Right, exactly.
None of them had their seatbelts on when it officially does crash to the ground, and then that dinosaur rolls it around. I mean, they would have all had some very serious internal injuries. No one stayed in their seat with their seatbelt on. They were all flying around that little tube. And that big dinosaur rips it to shreds. And somehow they all run away and make it.
Well, except for that, the pilot guy. I don't
Oh,
remember
yeah,
his
yeah,
name.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
He's like running and it grabs his leg. And I was like, oh shit, it got you, dude. It got you. And I was like, and then it pulled him out of the plane. And then as he's trying to like crawl, like army crawl away, it
Yeah.
like stomps on him and like grabs his head. I was like, oh shit, it knew what to
Yeah.
do. And
But
I
that's what
love
I mean. And in the other movies, it would have just been him throwing him back, him screaming, and then you seeing him lift up his paw off of him, and there would have been like clothes or something. So you would have had been like, oh yeah, he died. You actually got to see it.
right. And I love how the Amy chick was all like trying to like be all cool, whatever, but she was like, ah, and everything. And then I also
Like
love how
her scream every time I was like, someone just slap her. Just slap her to shut her up.
right. And I love how when after it landed on the ground, she like ran out and like then Alan grabbed her and like brought her back into the plane. And I love how what's his face? Her husband,
Paul.
Paul, he get out and the dinosaur was like "Arrah," and he like got back into the plane. I'm like, why are you guys getting into this plane? It's like it's just basically a tuna can. This dinosaur is gonna eat you. He's gonna eat the fuck out of you.
Running away, like Alan lays in between two giant like fallen trees and the dinosaur steps on him, but because he's in the trees, I'm like, wouldn't he still gotten smushed? I feel like he would not have survived that unscathed. Like there would have been something of damage that would have happened to him. So now they're down to what? Five. The parents, Grant, Alan, and the last of the missionaries. He had a weird name. I don't remember his name.
The bald guy.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah, I don't
remember
remember
his
his
name.
name
It was
either.
like Udi or Udis. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I'll go with Udi. Let's call him Udi.
Yeah. So now they're walking through the woods and they're trying to come up with a game plan. And they figured out that they're looking for their son. And Alan asks how long he's been on the island. And they say 8 weeks. The minute they say 8 weeks, Alan's like, he's dead. We need to get back to shore. We need to get off this island. We're just counting the minutes away till we're eaten alive, and they're like, we're not leaving. And he's like, we are.
Yeah.
And they're all like, so Billy and Alan start walking towards.
Can we back up just a tiny bit?
Yeah.
How did you feel about the T-Rex biting the dinosaur with the spine or whatever? Because I thought that because we talked about you talked about the part where Alan was in between the two logs, but I really liked that fight sequence between the two dinosaurs, and he killed
that
the
was
T-Rex.
kind of an error on my part.
Oh, no big deal.
That part doesn't happen until after they decide they're heading to the shore because they're running away and they run into a carcass that the T-Rex is eating. But
yeah,
I like when right before that, when they're deciding what way to go and they walk away. And again, they're like, well, we're looking for your son. And the one mercenary that's left is like, well, how about we go with them and look for your son in that direction?
Right.
Like, I'm like, all of a sudden he's not so concerned with the kid anymore.
Right.
So then
fuck your kid, bitch.
Right. So then they like go through woods and they find a carcass and Alan assures them it's dead. And right as they're like, oh, the T-Rex like lifts his head up with blood dripping from his fangs.
Right.
And everything. And Alan's all, nobody moved. Every one of those bitches ran.
Yeah, they all ran, which I'm all like, did anybody not watch the first movie?
Alan runs too.
Yeah. It was so good.
It was like, wow.
Yeah, all right. So sorry, I just want to talk about that because I really enjoyed that fight sequence. I was like, let them fight and everything. So
well, because the T-Rex is supposed to be the dominant, amazing T-Rex. He's the apex predator of all predators or whatever. And this one looks like he's given the T-Rex a run for his money. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
He's a serious contender. He kind of looks a little scarier. He has the little T-Rex arms though.
Right. Oh
I don't
yeah, he does. Like,
understand. If the velociraptors have the T-Rex arm too, why do dinosaurs have little, like their arms can't go that far out? I feel like that's a bad design.
right
Maybe
on.
that's why they went extinct, because the design flaws were seen. I don't know. So then after the T-Rex, they get away from the T-Rex and whatever the spiny dinosaurs
Yeah,
called.
Spinosaurus.
Yeah, a fight. They are going through the woods and they come across the site of where Eric, no, they find the velociraptor eggs first. My
Yeah,
bad.
in that little like lab place or whatever.
No. That's before that.
Oh
It's
yeah,
in the
yeah.
woods. Because
Yeah.
it's no. I'm wrong. Hold on.
It's okay. It's okay. We've had a couple cocktails.
Just a few. I mean, it wouldn't be a bar if we didn't.
It wouldn't be a bar.
So, okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back. They're walking through the woods and they come across the parachute.
Oh, yeah. The parachute.
Yes. And they find the camera, and the missionary or mercenary guy. I keep saying missionary. He is not a man of God. He's a mercenary.
Right.
He's praying with the dinosaur.
Yeah, may the power of Christ convey you.
It does some little MacGyver shit with the flashlight and the batteries and gets the camera. So then they realize they don't realize Ben is still entangled in the parachute, but they decide they're going to take the parachute.
Which I just have to tell you right now, the actor that plays Ben, hottie patati, hello.
Right. She upgraded for sure
she did.
after that divorce, let me say.
Daddy's ready.
Okay, but can we also talk about how she asks him how much weight he lost?
Right, yeah, like honey, we're in a crisis situation. You need to calm yourself. Like,
this is not speed dating.
Yeah, her labia majora is like vibrating, but I'm like, you need to calm it down, sister. We're in crisis mode.
Right. So when they go to get the parachute, a bony body a corpse comes flying down, and the way she scoops,
right, it's so good.
And then she's swinging arms.
Yeah, right.
She gets free, she takes off. Part of me goes, nothing. You don't run off by yourself on a dinosaur infested island.
Yeah, I think her reactions are the best, because like and I have questions like, his bones would not stay together like that in a skeletal form. Like, it's not like, that's not how skeletons work.
And
okay,
he would not have decayed because that way naturally. So he had to be picked away at by dinosaurs. Dinosaurs don't care if they eat a bone. They're
right.
Like, ooh, let's pop that open and drink out that marrow.
Exactly. It's a little weird, but at the same time, I did like her reaction, so it was fine.
Right. So she takes off running, and Paul goes to find her, and she's concerned because now Eric's out here all by himself. He's hugging her and telling her that Eric's okay. And that's when he looks around and sees what looks like a half a dozen raptor nests.
Right.
But they don't know they're raptors. They just know they're dinosaur nests. And they call Grant over, and Grant's, you can tell by his facial expressions, he's mentally losing his shit. He wants out of there. Well, his little sidekick Billy does the stupid thing and takes some raptor eggs. Yes. Thinking he can sell them to fund their dig, now that they've learned that Paul is not the bazillionaire. He's a tile and fixture guy or something with a store in a mini mall. Right. So then they start walking, and this is when they find the visitors or the visitor center, the research center, or whatever. Yeah. So now they're at the vending machine. Paul's all like, does anyone got any quarters? I've only got $1.30 something. And Billy just bust the glass.
Which was great. I was like, good for you. I was like, you get those Reese's.
Poor Paul couldn't break his vending machine open, and instead of walking over to Billy's vending machine, he just puts his change back in his pocket and walks away.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like, his manhood won't allow him to take the Cheetos out of Billy's vending machine.
Right. the Cheetos. Oh goodness.
So now they're in the research lab, and Amanda is looking at all of these like bodies of dinosaurs.
Yeah,
in
these
this
embryos.
water.
Yeah, and she comes across real quick. I just want to talk about this because she comes across a raptor head, right?
Yes.
Now I have to tell you right now, the first time I saw this part, I got scared. I was scared.
It is a great jump scare.
Oh, it's
It
totally
really
good.
is.
And this is why this movie is superior to the last movie, the number 2. Because then the eyeball moves just a tiny bit, and she's all like, wait, what the fuck? And then the raptor pops up out of nowhere.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, and then it pops up
questioning her own sanity in that
for like
moment.
for half a second, and the raptor pops up like a fucking Houdini trick through the little glass things. It's like rah rah rah, and I'm like, bitch, you better start running right now.
She has an amazing blood curdling.
Right? Yeah.
Tay Leone would have been an excellent horror final girl. She
for sure.
Really
yeah.
Would up, because those screams when Ben's body comes down, when this raptor comes out of her, like it's on point.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the raptor chases them all through this little complex or whatever, which I just have to say, watching this, there were so many cages in this little complex, and they find the one, or they split it, they find 2, but they split up, and then like 3 of them, they trap themselves behind a door. I'm like, oh, look at you big idiots. Like, and then I love how the raptor couldn't get to him, but then it was like, it like looked up and was like, hey, I can go through the top of this. And then
open at the top.
Right. And then that's when they realize they're like, ah, shit, we're fucked. And then so they like, oh, we'll just push the door the opposite way to trap this raptor.
Big human brain right there.
Yeah, and I love the raptor's look when it looked like from like it was just like huh, and it just like looked up like hey, and then it started to climb, and they're like fuck this noise, and they're like push and everything, and then that's when they trapped it, and then it was doing that caw noise, and I was like, what's going on? Yeah, exactly, and then I love how Alan Grant was all like, it's talking, and I'm all like, yeah, fucker. Didn't you establish this earlier in the episode with your little 3D printed vocal machine?
In the very first one, when the raptors were all together and attacking people? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it was great.
So this is also where you realize this isn't really like the first island, because the cages, because remember Hammond says that in the second one, the previous one, that sorry, I just hit my drink and my straw went flying.
It's totally fine.
So they were breeding. I have problems with that, with this part where Hammond in the second one says on this island is where they were breeding them and then transporting them over.
Right.
Because there are embryos and eggs hatching on the other island, because that's where Norman is stealing the embryos. But anyways, that's what the cages were for, to hold the ones when they were getting transported off. So when they run from this island after they break free from, or not from the island, from this building, when they break free from their little door opening moment,
right,
they get separated. So now Grant has the eggs, but doesn't know he has the eggs. He's by himself, and the others are together, and they're up in trees. 3 of them.
Yes, because they're running from the rest of the raptors.
Right. And the last mercenary gets caught, and they're using him as bait.
Yeah, I love how the raptor like was just like, and then like stomped him and then like clawed him with that big ass claw. And I was like, oh shit, dude, he clawed you, dude. He totally dicked you down. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and he was like, ah, and I was like, oh yeah, he butt fucked you, dude. And I'm like, it sucks to be you,
giant claw.
Yeah, it sucks to be you, dude.
And here Amanda's gonna get them all killed.
Because and I love Exactly. I love how Amanda was all like, "Oh my God, we got to help him." I'm like, Amanda, fuck that noise. Leave him. He is screwed. I was like, you did this, Amanda. You hired him. You did this.
You sat on the edge and brought the big giant one that made you have to run and go, Ben, Eric, Ben.
And I love how
I
she
blame
can't
you
even
from the get-go because this was your boyfriend that was trying to impress your son.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Your hot boyfriend, your hot daddy boyfriend. And I love how she trips at the tree and like falls down and like does a somersault, and then she's like hanging upside down, like, oh, and then the raptors are like, look,
again,
lunch.
for some reason they feel the need to bring gymnastics into the dinosaur.
Right. And then like I love how she's like hanging upside down. The raptors all like, look, a free lunch and everything, and she's all like, ah, and they're like and everything. I did like this video part where they were like chomping at her and they showed them like coming up. I can't do it right, like and everything, you know. I did like that part.
Yeah, and Alan gets cornered by the velociraptors again because he has no idea, and of course his dumbass is standing in the middle of them going, what do you want, you know, and he's trying, dude, they're gonna eat you, that's what they want. And the little boy Eric throws a gas grenade out,
yes,
and saves Eric, and they go to a different plane.
I like real quick. I like how they killed the mercenary guy by breaking his neck. They were all like, they like stopped on his back and they were like, and everything. Yes. I was like, oh shit, these raptors are like gangsta and shit.
But that's what I mean by I appreciate the kills in this one so much more because they're actually showing them. In the last one, they would have just showed his little claw on him and then he was dead, you know, and then later you just realize he was dead. This time they show him like stepping on him and then snap, you know. So I totally appreciate that. So now Alan and Eric are in this plane that Eric has made his home.
Right. Which I don't know how you felt about it, but I was like, oh, get the fuck out of here, Peter Pan, with your nonsense. And you're like, I just wasted the last of my gas bombs or whatever. And I'm all like, and he's like surviving on like canned beans and shit.
And he's harvesting T-Rex pee.
Yeah. He's like, that
he's like, you don't want to know how you got it. I personally go, did you just follow the T-Rex around? And when he peed, you dipped it in the big giant puddle?
I totally think that's how he did it. Or he was just standing underneath him.
Sit underneath him?
Yeah.
T-Rex. You see how big its footprint is? I'm imagining when it pees, it leaves a giant swimming pool of piss on the ground.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And he's all like, well, it keeps all the little ones away, but it brings in that big one with the spine. And I'm like, okay, so use it sparingly? I don't know what you want me to do.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like crazy Jurassic World problems. I'm in the real world, so I didn't got these things.
This sounds like problems I'm not running into.
Right.
So I don't know what to tell you, Eric. And I love how Grant is eating out of the biggest can of beans I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
And he's eating it like he hasn't eaten in forever.
Yeah.
And then the little, what are they called? Carpies or whatever.
Compies.
They come and Eric freaks out. He's like, oh my God, it's the Compies. And he shuts the lid or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, we know, we've seen, and from the last one, they can do some damage, but I wouldn't worry so much about them. Spray your little T-Rex pee around and you're fine.
Sprinkle your piss all over the place. Nobody cares.
So it's like the next day or something, and they decide to get out of the plane.
Yeah.
And in the true fashion of the whole apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and granted, I'll give Eric the benefit of the doubt. He had no idea that Nash got eaten with his dad Paul's satellite phone. But either way, has he not learned anything in the 8 weeks living on that island that he hears the ringing and starts running through the woods, yelling, Mom, Dad.
Yes.
I'm like, dude, you've survived for 8 weeks. Now I've lost it. I'm not buying it anymore. This is where they lost me on. He's survived for 8 weeks being all collecting shit and sneaking through the woods. I'm not buying it because the minute he heard that phone, he did just what his mom did, went running and screaming and everything. And now they're at a giant electric fence. And of course, his mom and dad are on one side, and him and Alan Grant are on another. A little callback to him and Timmy having to climb up the T-Rex fence. And can I just say, when the big spiny guy comes, isn't it just lovely how they run all of 10 feet and now there's a gaping hole just big enough for the two of them to get through the fence.
Right. I'm like, oh, good for you.
That they're now safe. But the big spiny guy's like, wait a minute, I can bust through this. And he does.
That's exactly what he does.
And then they go and run to the little barn-like thing. Like, why did they think that was going to be the safe place to go? He just ran through like a non-active electric fence.
Exactly. Like, he runs through this whole fence, but yet he doesn't come through this little, like, this teepee looking thing. I'm all like, that's ridiculous.
And it's made of wood.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't understand that concept. It was bad, but at the same time, I was like, all right, fine. I'll go with you because I'm enjoying this.
I'm already like, fine, whatever. We've got dinosaurs. We know they're not real. We're already in fictional world. So in this fictional world, wood's stronger than metal. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was like, all right, I'm in with you this far. Let's go on and see what's happening.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. And at one point, I should say, when Alan was with Eric, they saw that on the little river, there was a boat, and they had all decided they had to get to the boat.
Yes.
So that they could get to the ocean. So now they're in this big like barn thing, and they get free of the big giant guy. And now they're in the woods again, and they're going through, and they get to a big giant, like, it's a river, but it's going through like mountains. That's the only way I can think, because it's big giant valleys down to the water. And the only thing going across are these enclosed metal catwalks.
Right.
Well, what they don't realize, because it's also very foggy, is that these metal catwalks lead to a dome,
an atrium,
which is the aviary.
Yeah, an aviary. Sorry.
Yeah, where the pterodactyls are. Now, I'm sorry, I never, until Jurassic Park, never realized pterodactyls are scary and vicious fuckers. I always thought them as nice little dinosaurs with their long little feet, like they're just big birds. Woo, big birds.
Right. Well, this was my favorite part of the original novel. I always thought this part was really fun and scary and everything, but I really wish they would have added this in the original movie. But it was super fun. I really love this part. I love it when Billy jumps off the thing and he opens up the parachute and he's like flying through and everything to try to save Billy from the
or they're trying to save Eric because the pterodactyls dropped him into the nest.
Yeah, the little baby pterodactyls, and they're like cheap and everything, and he's all like I'm gonna try to save you, kid, and everything, and I'm like, oh, fuck you, you're getting eaten.
So my favorite part is I thought they did a really great job, again, from the original novel, of when the pterodactyl is on the enclosed catwalk and his wings are folded in, but he almost reminds me of like a miniature version, the way his legs are moving. Take out the wing part, but just imagine his arms and the way they're moving. The Cloverfield giant monster. It walks very similar with its arms.
Yeah, I also
like monster.
Yeah, I also liked how the fog was going on, and they were like walking through that catwalk, and they were like, you couldn't see in front of you, but then like the pterodactyl revealed itself slowly, and I was like, oh, fuck this noise, run away.
And you don't think of that, like when you see or anything with a pterodactyl, you always see them flying. You never see what happens when they land. And it
Yeah,
describes it
yeah.
really great in the book, but they do a
Yes.
really nice job of showing how it uses its arms that are part of the wings to walk.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I agree.
so that whole part I absolutely love. Pterodactyls have always been a great
Oh, they're
dinosaur
my
to me.
favorite. They're my
They're
favorite.
amazing. But like I said, I never until this third one thought of them as vicious creatures. And when we get to Jurassic World, we'll see even more.
Yes,
But
we will. Yeah, we will.
so when these movies came out, my whole perspective of pterodactyls changed, and it was a little scary and sad all at once.
Right.
So they think they've lost Billy. They think he's died from the parachuting to save Eric. And they get through and they get to the boat. And they get the boat started, and they're on the boat and they're going down this river, and they go past some brontosauruses and some other dinosaurs that are
Right.
plant eaters and not trying to kill them. But what they don't know is the long snout fin guy is following them in the water.
Right. Yeah, he is.
So now we're like the next day and we're at night. So I'm just going to go with we're like 24 hours later.
For sure.
And this guy's attacking them. This dinosaur is attacking them, but he doesn't attack them until after they find the sat phone in his poop, which I'm sorry. Nope.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you thought the first movie with the Triceratops that he had big piles of poop? Imagine piles of poop twice as big as that and about 4 more.
Yeah.
Sitting on the bank of this river. One of them is ringing.
Yeah, I'd have been like, "We're gonna die because I'm not touching that duty. I'm not touching."
Can we turn this motor up faster? Because
Yeah,
no,
I don't fuck with duty. I don't know how you feel, but I don't fuck with duty.
somewhere. Duty is it.
Yeah, duty. Duty is the line, the barrier between like I'd be like,
the line is drawn, ain't crossing it.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh shit, we're gonna die, you guys, because duty is involved. And I was like, I don't fuck with duty.
Absolutely. So all the adults, so Paul, Alan, and Amanda jump off the boat and they tell Eric to stay off. And they, at least in the first one, what was Ellie?
Yeah, I love Ellie.
At least she had gloves when
Ellie
she
Sadler
went diving into the Triceratops poop. They have no gloves. They dive hands first into this giant.
Oh yeah, they're digging it out like it's like it's like the savior.
And they're pulling bones out.
Oh yeah,
they're pulling shirts out. It's just.
It's fucking gross. That's what it is. Yeah.
And all I'm thinking the whole time is Ian when he says, "You're gonna wash your hands before." All I'm thinking. Watching this scene, I'm like, oh God, I would never be able to eat again.
Yeah, you should have brought some
the rest of my life.
Yeah, you should have brought some hand sanitizer, honey. That's just gross. It's gross.
This is pre-COVID. Hand sanitizer.
Pre-COVID. Oh, I would have brought some hand sanitizer. Ew, it was gross.
Can we just talk about how the minute they find this phone and they get back on the boat, their arms are completely clean.
Right.
Yeah. Water or wash them off.
Yeah, exactly. They're like L'Oreal and shit. And
under their nails, they would have to been like surgeons,
right?
To get that literal shit out of there.
Right.
So they have the sat phone, and he decides to call Dr. Statler to get her help.
Right.
But of course, this is the exact same time the giant snout fin dinosaur has attacked.
Yeah, the Spinosaurus or whatever it's called.
Whatever he's called, I don't remember. And they have this whole big fight scene of them. And why does this boat have a cage on it? And why do they into the cage?
Yeah, they climb into the cage and it goes underwater, and the Spinosaurus, it like gets its claws in there to try to get him out. And I was like, yo, I think the Spinosaurus, I don't know if that's what its name is, but the Spinosaurus
name, but for us that works.
It's a lot smarter than you motherfuckers, because it's all like, hey, they're in this cage. I just got to get them out. And then I love how, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but I love how what's his face with the mustache?
Paul
Yeah, Paul. He climbs up that
Crane.
crane. Yeah, exactly. And he's all like, "Hey, Mr. Monster." I'm like, "You're gonna die." Like,
Upon this crane yelling in the rain,
right.
and he thinks his voice is loud enough for this dinosaur.
Right. Like, I feel like dinosaurs, they have like 20/20 hearing or whatever. Like they have like one
Like a fly.
exact. Yeah, exactly.
And all he's hearing is
Yeah, exactly. Well, they have like 20/20 hearing, but they have like 1/20 vision. You know what I'm saying? It's so ridiculous.
in his arm. And I'm like, dude, they don't see like us.
Right. Yeah. And then I love who was it that set off the fire? I think was it Alan? Because
Yeah.
he found the fire gun underneath the
Flare
water,
gun.
which I'm all like, which I don't know about you, but as soon as I saw him, I'm like, what's going on here? There's no way the water didn't affect that gun, but I don't know how flare
Water
guns
won't
weren't.
affect flare guns because those are the
Okay,
guns you
okay.
use on boats, and they put them on the side of buoys in these.
Okay, I didn't know that, but I was like, oh, get out of here, Alan, with your finding your saving grace at the bottom of the
I'd be more
ocean.
concerned with how long was it there.
Right.
It's like medication. It's expired.
And I'm surprised that the Riley guy, what was his name? Paul was his name. Paul.
Yeah, Paul is William H. Mercy.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't die, because he was just at the end. By the time he set the fire, he was just hanging there from the freaking crane. I was like, eat him! He's like an hors d'oeuvre, just sitting there waiting. He's like an apple from the vine.
Cherry, and you just gotta pluck him off the stack.
Exactly. I was like, eat him now. And I love how, what was her name? Amanda. I love how she's all like sitting up the thing. She's like, "Oh, I'm so happy you didn't die." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Because you're getting a divorce,
You
you know?"
divorced me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you told me to die during that.
If I ever am in the midst of a divorce, I just know you just have to take my wife to a dinosaur island.
Right? Take her to a dinosaur island and survive it.
So, all right, go ahead.
Now they've survived the Spinosaurus, and
Yes.
they have made it to the beach. And when they make it to the beach, because Alan did connect with Ellie, and at one point her little toddler son just tells her the dinosaur man.
Right.
That was the best. And he sees the cartoon because she's saying goodbye out in the driveway, and he's like holding the phone. He's like, "I'm gonna watch some cartoon."
Right.
But when she does whatever she does to call people in or whatever, they get to the beach, and it's like the entire US Army or Navy is there with one weird guy in a business suit with a bullhorn.
Right.
Yelling, "Alan Grant," and you have Amanda going, "That's not a good idea." And I'm like, well, at least she's learned something.
Right. It's called growth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, can we talk about when the raptors catch them and they're all
I totally forgot about the raptors when they went to give that. So we're gonna back up a little bit. So
yeah, back up tiny
off the boat going through the woods. The raptors have been tracking them this whole time because they still have the eggs.
Yes.
And Mama Raptor wants her babies back.
Oh, yeah. You don't fuck with a Mama Raptor and her babies. You know what I'm saying?
No. So the raptors circle the group, and Alan's all like, "We got to give them back." But for some reason, Alan thinks they think Amanda has taken them.
Right.
So he gives them to Amanda, and Amanda gives them, like, takes them out of the bag and lays them on the ground. And the raptors, in my opinion, are going to eat them and then take the eggs until they hear the helicopters. They hear the helicopters and stuff, and they decide to grab the eggs and run away.
Yeah. Well, doesn't Alan do that? Like,
he does that little weird thing. But I, in my opinion, don't think that did anything. I think it was the helicopters. That the raptors were more of they didn't have a clue what that was, and they just wanted to protect their young.
Right on.
In my opinion.
They take the eggs and
because how did Alan know what he was saying? He was just going
right. Yeah.
Like, and when they were doing their little there's like different sounds. His was the same every time. How did he know? So, in my opinion, I thought the Raptors knew he was blowing a whole lot of horse shit up their asses, but they heard those helicopters and they went, that shit's a noise we don't know. Let's grab the babies and go home. And that's what I think happened. And then they went to the beach. They found the army and the one guy with the bullhorn. They get on the helicopter and Billy is on a stretcher. My favorite thing in the world is the jackass in the business suit with the bullhorn goes, does he belong to you? No, there's an entire another tourist group on the island that you just happen to stumble across as well.
Right.
And of course, they're airlifted off, and the pterodactyls are flying away from the island. And Alan says something like, well, they're probably looking for a new nesting ground. And I'm like, or lunch.
Right.
Like, I don't know. There's, in all of the Jurassic Park movies, I absolutely love them all. There are just certain things in each one of them that I'm like, that makes no sense. Smack yourself upside the head, you dumb.
Right.
But I'm here for it and absolutely love every minute.
You're right.
So, is there anything I missed or anything you'd like to add, talk about?
No, I think you did a great job. It was super fun.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the next portion. What is your question?
All right, so for my question is, what is your favorite little kid from the original trilogy, between Timmy, Kelly, and Eric? Who is your favorite little kid from these movies?
Okay, well, my least favorite is Kelly. I don't like her. She snuck onto the
that's a good
transport. Point. She was kind of a, I don't get to spend enough time with my daddy. Right. Timmy was okay, but I'm going to go with Eric because Eric was the only one that actually showed survival. Granted, with his running through the woods, yelling mom and dad, I question how much of it was luck versus real survival. But I'm going to stick with Eric.
Oh, I'm going to go with the classic and I'm going to say Timmy. I love Timmy. Yeah. I just love him and his sister going through the park. You know what I'm saying?
He would not have survived the electrocution of a 10,000 volt fence. I don't care how much CPR Alan Grant gave him.
That's fine. It was still fun.
Yeah. I do love the classic line of, well, we're back in the truck.
Right on.
So, all right. So my question is, so we have made it through all of the original Jurassic Parks. Out of the three originals, there was always some sort of island intro. Which one is your favorite? Is your favorite the first one where Hammond hires everyone to get them to the island to improve it? The second one where he's all having people categorize the island, but the only reason he does that is because the island is found out by the family who is on the fancy yacht, who accidentally discovers the island when they decide to have lunch on it. Or in this third one, where the parasailing boyfriend and son get stuck on the island. Which one is your favorite little island intro?
My favorite is the second one with the rich family with the yacht. Because I was
Absolutely,
like, hey,
I agree. That's mine too.
Yeah, first off, I was like, I love a yacht. For second off, I was like, I love how they're like taking a lunch break on a beach. And I love how the little girl was all like, hey, little dude, here's some roast beef, have some lunch and everything. And they were all like, nummy.
I love how these like 20 little, what the fuck are they called? Carpies?
Compies.
How these like 20 little compies take out one little girl when this family of three, they have 2 parents and a child, have like 15 servants, and they didn't think to send one with their kid and say, just go with her and keep an eye on her. Let her do whatever she wants, but keep her safe. Yeah, no, that's my favorite too, because in my mind, I'm like, you bitches are trespassing. She just got eaten by the guard dogs. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
All right. So is there anything else you would like to add today or
No, I think I'm good.
All right. So thank you guys so much for listening to the BS Bar. if you listen to BS Drunk Movie Reviews on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please feel free to leave us a 5-star review. It really does help us out, and we totally appreciate it. Follow us on Twitter at BS Drunk Pod to stay updated and hear all of our fun things or our fun fact tweets, or every now and then him trying to steal my life and my toys as a child. We will also be posting videos on our YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe to YouTube BS Drunk Movie Reviews to see our beautiful faces. Yes. And don't forget to drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye, everybody.
Bye.